Did you know that nearly half of England is slowly being abandoned? It's a rather startling thought, isn't it? Imagine wandering through neighbourhoods where the only sound is the echo of your own footsteps, where rows of terrace houses stand empty, their windows boarded up, paint peeling, and weeds claiming what was once a lively street. High streets that were once the beating hearts of their communities now stand silent, shop fronts hidden behind to-let signs, a quiet testament to a creeping exodus that's been years in the making. But this isn't the plot of a dystopian film or some bleak post-apocalyptic story. It's the lived reality for millions across England. And it raises uncomfortable questions. What's driving this slow-motion evacuation of whole cities? Is it simply the loss of jobs and industry? Or is there something deeper, an unravelling of community, of hope, of identity itself? Today, I'll be taking you on a journey through 9 English cities teetering on the brink. Together, we'll uncover the human cost behind the statistics and meet the people fighting to keep their cities alive. Stick with me until the end, because what we uncover might just change the way you see the map of England forever. Stoke-on-Trent, once synonymous with the clatter of pottery wheels, the hum of kilns, and the pride of a city that quite literally shaped England's tea tables. The skyline here used to be pierced by hundreds of bottle kilns, each one a symbol of craft and community. But as I walk these silent streets, I notice the factories are shuttered, their brickwork scarred by decades of rain and neglect. The world-famous pottery industry, Royal Doulton, Wedgwood, has all but vanished, leaving behind unemployment and a city searching for its purpose. For generations, families passed down their skills, their livelihoods, their sense of belonging. But with the collapse of the industry, many left in search of work. Those who stayed grappled with rising poverty, empty shops, and the slow erosion of local pride. Pubs that were once filled with laughter now stand eerily quiet, their windows smeared with dust. The local football team struggles to draw crowds. There is a sense of a city waiting, holding its breath, hoping for a revival that always seems just out of reach. Yet not everyone has given up. Amid the decay, there are artists repurposing derelict factories, young entrepreneurs turning abandoned spaces into cafes and galleries. The struggle to redefine Stoke is ongoing, a daily negotiation between memory and hope. But the question remains, can a city built on clay and tradition find new ground in the modern world? Blackpool, once England's playground, a glittering stretch of neon and laughter, where families flocked for summer holidays, and the promenade pulsed with life. Today, the famous illuminations still flicker, but the crowds have thinned. Walking along the windswept pier, it's hard to ignore the boarded-up guest houses, the shuttered arcades, and the sense that Blackpool's best days are a memory lingering in the salty air. The decline of domestic seaside tourism has hit Blackpool hard. Cheap flights and package holidays lured visitors abroad, leaving behind a local economy struggling to reinvent itself. Many here feel forgotten, trapped in a cycle of low-paid seasonal work or no work at all. The once bustling high street is punctuated by charity shops and empty windows. For some, the dream of Blackpool as a place of escape and joy has faded into resignation and struggle. But Blackpool, in its own way, fights back. Community groups run food banks and youth clubs. There are efforts to revive the arts scene and attract new investment. The famous tower still stands tall against the grey sky, a stubborn reminder of resilience. Yet, as we'll see, the glamour of the past is a tough act to follow, and the scars of decline run deep. Middlesbrough's story is written in steel and smoke. Once, this was the engine room of the North, its blast furnaces glowing red in the night, drawing workers from across Britain. But as I drive past the skeletal remains of the old steelworks, it's clear the fire has gone out. With the collapse of the steel and chemical industries, thousands lost not just their jobs, but their sense of identity, a slow unraveling that left the city reeling. The impact is everywhere. Entire estates have emptied, their homes marked for demolition or left to decay. Schools have closed, and shops that once served thriving communities now stand derelict. Unemployment remains stubbornly high, and for many, leaving Middlesbrough is less a choice than a necessity. Those who stay speak of resilience, but also of frustration and loss, a community waiting for something, anything to fill the void. Yet, amid the gloom, there are glimmers of hope. The university brings new faces and fresh ideas. Artists have moved into cheap spaces, creating murals and events that draw people together. But the question lingers, can Middlesbrough forge a new future from the ashes of its industrial past? Hull is a city shaped by water and trade, its fortunes rising and falling with the tides of the Humber. Once, fleets of fishing trawlers and merchant ships crowded the docks, and the city echoed with the sounds of industry. But the collapse of fishing and shipping left Hull adrift, struggling to find a new direction. Walking along the old wharves, I see warehouses converted into flats, but also stretches of dereliction and decay. Regeneration has brought some change. In 2017, Hull was crowned UK City of Culture, sparking a burst of pride and investment. New galleries and theatres opened, the marina filled with yachts and hip cafes. But beneath the surface, the wounds of decline run deep. Many neighbourhoods still face high unemployment, poor health, and a sense of being left behind by the rest of the country. Hull's story is one of grit and survival. The people here are proud of their accent, their humour, their city's resilience. But as I talk to locals, it's clear that regeneration is a fragile thing, easily undone, and that the fight to keep Hull alive is far from over. Sunderland's heart once beat to the rhythm of the shipyards. Generations built their lives along the Wear, crafting vessels that sailed the world. But when the yards closed, Sunderland was left with more than just empty slips and silent cranes. It lost its very sense of self. Walking the riverside now, the past feels close, but the future remains uncertain. The closure of the shipyard sent shockwaves through the community. Unemployment soared, and young people left in search of opportunities. What remains is a city grappling with its identity, no longer the shipbuilding capital, but not yet something new. Attempts at regeneration have brought call centres and retail parks, but many long for the pride and purpose the old industries once provided. Yet there is resilience here. Community groups work to preserve Sunderland's history, while others look forward, investing in the arts, technology and education. The question that hangs in the air, can Sunderland's community spirit be enough to chart a new course? Bradford was once the wool capital of the world, its mills powering the British Empire's textile trade. Today, those mills stand as hulking reminders of lost grandeur. Many converted into flats, others left to crumble. The collapse of textiles hit Bradford hard, sowing economic hardship and social fragmentation that still linger in the city's streets. Walking through Bradford, I noticed the contrasts: grand Victorian architecture side by side with boarded-up shops, vibrant multicultural neighbourhoods next to empty mills. The city has tried to reinvent itself, investing in the arts, film and technology, but the scars of deindustrialisation run deep. Social tensions sometimes flare, and regeneration efforts have often faltered or stalled. Yet, Bradford is a city of survivors. Its diverse communities bring energy, creativity, and a fierce sense of identity. The struggle here is not just for jobs, but for belonging, a daily negotiation between past and future, tradition and change. Grimsby's fortunes were once tethered to the North Sea, its docks a hive of activity as trawlers unloaded the day's catch. But when the fishing industry collapsed, Grimsby was left with empty docks and a sense of abandonment that is, honestly, hard to shake. The town's high street is lined with vacant shops, and many homes stand empty, their gardens overgrown. The economic shock was swift and brutal. Thousands lost their livelihoods, and the town's population began to shrink. For years, Grimsby became a byword for decline, its name used as shorthand for everything lost in deindustrialization. Yet, beneath the surface, there's a quiet determination to survive. New industries, food processing, renewable energy, have brought some hope, but the transition has been anything but easy. Grimsby's story is one of survival against the odds. Community projects, small businesses, and a stubborn sense of pride keep the town afloat. But the question remains, will the new Grimsby ever truly replace the old? Oldham sits on the edge of Manchester, but its story is distinct, one shaped by the rise and fall of cotton mills and the waves of migration that followed. The mills are mostly silent now, their brickwork faded, their windows broken. Deindustrialization hit hard, leaving behind unemployment, poverty, and a search for a new identity. Walking through Oldham, I see evidence of change. New housing developments, bustling markets, and the energy of a young, diverse population. But I also sense the weight of the past, tensions between old and new, and a lingering uncertainty about the future. The struggle here is not just economic, but cultural, a negotiation over what it means to belong in a city that is constantly being remade. Oldham's residents, however, are nothing if not resilient. Community leaders, teachers, and entrepreneurs are working to build bridges and foster hope. The city's story is unfinished, a testament to both the challenges and possibilities of change. Burnley's identity was forged in the fires of manufacturing, cotton, coal, engineering. But as those industries faded, so too did the population. Entire neighbourhoods emptied out, leaving behind rows of boarded-up houses and a town wrestling with its future. The silence in some streets is almost physical, a reminder of all that's been lost. The town has tried to fight back, investing in regeneration projects and attracting new businesses. But progress is uneven. Some areas have seen new life with cafes and shops opening, while others remain in the grip of decline. For many, the question isn't just about jobs, but about whether Burnley can ever feel like home again, a place people want to stay, not just leave behind. Still, there's hope. Local groups are working to reclaim abandoned spaces, create opportunities for young people, and instill pride in Burnley's unique history. The battle for relevance is far from over, and the outcome is anything but certain. As we've seen, the reasons behind England's silent exodus are tangled and complex. Lost industries, broken promises, and shifting identities all play their part. Each city's story is unique, shaped by the specific industries that built them and by the people who stayed behind to pick up the pieces. But the thread running through them all is a sense of resilience, a determination to survive and adapt, even as the world changes around them. These are not just places on a map, but communities grappling with profound change. Their stories remind us that the fate of a city is never just about economics. It's about people, pride, and the search for belonging. The boarded-up shops and empty streets tell only half the story. The other half is written in the efforts of those who refuse to give up, who keep fighting for their city's future. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Have you lived in one of these cities or seen similar changes where you are? Share your experiences in the comments below. Your stories matter because ultimately it's the people who shape the destiny of a place. Thank you for watching.